Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh everyone, I'm Aisha Rosalie. Please, 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 if you have the means, donate to my Gaza fundraiser. I know there's a siege going on, there's also, not all the money will be getting in because of the siege, but everything that's donated will still go to the people of Gaza, inshallah. As soon as the siege ends, as soon as there's a ceasefire, inshallah, everything will go in. There's so many orphans, there's so many people that need help. All the money will go to them if it's not getting there right now. So please keep donating, links in the description. I'm gonna get straight on with this video because it's really important that you guys see this and I can't really sum it up. So I'm going to watch it and then we'll talk.
And the Israelis right now are holding on to a wing and a prayer that they can get things back to where they were pre-October 7th. They think that they can defeat Hamas, but they know they can't. Hamas is an ideology, and the ideology of resistance is being magnified 100-fold with every bomb that's dropped on Gaza. Rather than defeating Hamas, Israel is expanding Hamas. Hamas has taken over in Turkey. It's in the United States in the streets. People are coming out in support of Hamas. People are starting to recognize Israel for what it is, because Israel no longer has the smooth-talking, well-educated con artists who would sell Israel as an extension of America, a democracy just like America, the same values as America. They're not even pretending that right now. They're putting forward generals and politicians who are saying things that if you eliminated the term Arab and Jew and replaced it with Jew and German, these speeches being given by Israeli is the same thing that Nazi Germans were saying in the 1930s and early 1940s, the exact same thing. And the world is seeing this. This is unfiltered. Israel is not like us. It is not a democracy that has as its principal reason for existence political Zionism, which allows Israel to behave as if they are the chosen few from God, exceptional people who have an inherent right to oppress those who get in the way of the creation of a greater Israel. I am an American, and in America, a fundamental principle is that all men, and now by extension, all women, are created equal. There is no supremacy attached to Christian, Muslim, or Jew, or atheist, or Buddhist, or any other religion out there. All people are human. All men are created equal. And yet Israel operates on the premise that Jews are superior, that Jews are the chosen ones, that Jews have a covenant with God to come to the Holy Land, and anything is allowed and tolerated if it fulfills that, to include the oppression of the Goyim. And that is a term that is being used more and more in Israel today. Goyim, that means, it literally means an animal, a subhuman. The Israelis treat anybody who's not in favor of a Zionist state as animals. You know who else speaks like that? Stepan Bandera and his Ukrainian nationalists are the same thing about the exceptionalism of Ukrainian nationalism and the subhuman status attached to Russians, to Poles, to Jews. But we weren't allowed to say this because you couldn't speak out against Israel like this. Right now, we don't have to say anything because Israel's actions speak for themselves. The world is seeing the reality of what Israel is, and the world is standing up. As we speak, the General Assembly is coming together. And I hope they're going to act in the spirit of 1956, when the Security Council was frozen over the issue of the Suez Canal, and the General Assembly, with America's blessing, came forward and impose its will on the international community, because the General Assembly has that power. And it is time for the General Assembly to take control of this situation and condemn Israel and punish Israel for the genocidal activities. You cannot have an Israeli ambassador in the United Nations criticizing the Secretary General of the United Nations for calling Israel out for what they are. If anybody's to be expelled from the United Nations, it is the Israeli ambassador and the nation of Israel. And if they're not careful, people like me who believe firmly that Israel has a right to exist and that Israel must be defended regardless of the criminal policies, you're going to lose me, Israel. And when you lose me, it's over for you. Because when I flip to the other side, everybody else is going to flip. Because I used to be a very close friend of Israel. I used to stand with Israel.
100%. And he got angry towards the end. And you know what? I don't know what it's like being a Muslim in Arab countries or Pakistan or India or Indonesia or whatever right now. If you guys are from those countries, you'll know. But I know what it's like being a Muslim standing for Palestine in the West, in UK specifically, a country that sends military aid and backs Israel while the people are protesting. 500,000 people are protesting in the streets against it. The anger in this country is unreal, and it worries me because I see the anger growing here in the UK, and it probably in America as well, probably in Canada too, where the people are just getting pissed. Like, we're just getting so angry because we're trying to speak, we're trying to stop a genocide from happening, and our governments are supporting it, they're helping it happen, and we all see it happening, and we all know what's going to happen. We all know that in 100 years or even 20 years time, maybe people are going to look back and go, why was that genocide allowed to happen? Like, why did no one stop it? And we're going to go, we tried. Like, we tried our best. We were protesting, we were posting, we were donating, we were going onto news channels and speaking about our cause. We were trying everything we could, but nothing changed. And you got people like my mum, before this conflict happened, was a very proud Brit. She would fly her England flag, and she was one of those kind of Brits that would be, I'm British, I love my country. And she's very into like nationalism. She grew up in that kind of atmosphere, you know, like I don't judge her for that. I personally am not the same, but that's the way she is. And even she's saying, I'm embarrassed to be British. I don't want to be British right now. How can we do this? We have freedom of speech. We're supposed to be a good country. We're supposed to be on the good side. And even she's starting to see what's going on. And it's not just her, there's lots of other people as well. Just by being in this country, I feel like I'm on the side of the oppressors. Obviously, I'm trying my best to speak up for Palestine, but at the end of the day, I'm in this country. I'm in the UK, I'm a British person. My government, who represents me, is saying pretty much just kill the Palestinians, get rid of them, you deserve to do what you want, it's self-defense. And even though I'm trying to move away from that as much as possible, it's still a part of me just because of the fact that the government represents me. So that's why it's my duty and anyone in this country's duty. Doesn't matter if you were born here or not, just if you live here, you need to make that effort to just try and push the Palestinian message out there. At the end of the day, this is not a war of Muslims against Jews. This is a war of Zionists against Muslims. And it's not just against Muslims, actually, to be honest. It's against Muslims, it's against pretty much everyone. They've kind of isolated themselves from everyone. Even if you're Jewish and non-Zionist, they don't like you. And I remember I met a Zionist here in London, and he said to me, I said, are you religious? He said, no, I'm atheist, but I'm Jewish. I was like, how can you be atheist and Jewish? It doesn't make sense. He's like, oh, well, I don't believe in God, but I'm Jewish by culture, so I follow the practices. And I remember speaking to him and just being so confused, like, how does that make sense? It didn't make sense in my head. And then I realised, when speaking to him, he was talking about Israel and how he loves Israel, and Israel's the best country in the world, and Israel, and people misunderstand Israel and all this stuff. And I thought, this is the first time we've met, you're telling me about Israel. And I asked him, I said, are you a Zionist? He said, yes. I was like, wow, if you remove the beautiful parts of Judaism, which is believing in God, being kind to other people, you know, all the actual religious practices, and you just get this, I love Israel, therefore I hate everyone that's not Israeli, you get this horrible, horrible human being. And that's when I realized that Judaism and Zionism are very different. Very different. So it's not to target our Jewish brothers and sisters, because there are so many Jewish people that are standing up against oppression, saying, you know what, we went through a horrible situation during Nazi Germany, we do not want this to happen again. There are practicing Jews here in London who are going to all the protests. Remember, I went to a protest last year and they were there despite it being a holy day for them, and on their holy day they couldn't do things like get transport, so they had to walk there and all these things, but they still showed up. So, you know, Jews that are practicing, that believe in God, you know, the same practice that we have in Islam, which is Allah's watching, you have to be good. If you're evil, you won't get goodness in the next world. You know, all the same beliefs that we have, in the sense, you know, the three people of the book, the Jews, the Christians and the Muslims, we have those same beliefs of just be kind to thy neighbour, you know, stack up those good deeds and don't do anything bad, don't steal, don't hurt. It's very basic. but it's fundamental. And I don't see the Zionists as Jewish people. I see them as Zionists. This is what they are, that's what they call themselves. And Israel is a terrorist state. Like I've said it, it's that simple. And if you stand by Israel, you stand by terrorism, you stand by genocide, you stand by racism, you stand by ethnic cleansing. You've got some severe corruption in your heart if you think that what they're doing is correct, is the correct thing to do. Severe corruption. Mashallah, this guy, he said it so well. He summed up pretty much what Israel is, what they're doing. And I pray that when there is a ceasefire, if there is a ceasefire, Allahu Alam, Allah knows what's going to happen. I have no idea where this is going. That we still keep up our boycotts. Today I was craving pizza. I messaged my friend saying, I really crave pizza, but I can't go to Papa John's, can't go to Domino's, can't go to Pizza Hut. And I'm happy about that. I will stand by that. I will go to some small little pizza restaurant. I'll search the owners to see like where they're from, where they stand on the whole issue, and I'll probably buy from them. Because that's how serious I am about this right now. So I pray that we keep up our boycotts until the Palestinians are free, until they have some liberation. And we keep spreading our message. And 500,000 people protesting, 1 million people in Istanbul. It's a big deal. The people are speaking. We need to keep fighting. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you guys for watching. Assalamu alaikum.